Today, we're diving into the world of intermittent fasting. But we're not just going to look at the science. No, we're going to explore it through the incredible, real-world story of one patient's journey from a chronic diagnosis to completely taking back control of her health.
This is the standard medical line for type 2 diabetes: chronic and progressive. What that really means is it's a one-way street, a condition that's just expected to get worse over time, needing more and more medication just to keep it in check. That's a pretty heavy diagnosis to get, right?
But hold on a second. What if that progressive label isn't set in stone? What if you could actually challenge it? Well, that is the exact question at the very heart of the story we're following today, and it's one that might just change how you think about this condition.
So, let's meet the person at the center of all this. She's a 47-year-old woman, and for 15 long years, she lived with the day-in, day-out reality of type 2 diabetes. Her health journey really seemed to be heading in only one direction.
I mean, her journey is a textbook example of that chronic and progressive definition. It starts in 2009 with her diagnosis. By 2017, she's on metformin. Then, over the next few years, her medication list just gets longer and longer. Gliclazide, Ozempic, you name it. But by February of 2024, despite all of those drugs, her blood sugar was still out of control. And the next step? Insulin. For her, that was the breaking point.
And right there, that's the moment everything changed. Faced with the prospect of a lifetime of insulin shots, she just decided, no, there has to be another way. She started digging, looking for answers, for a strategy that could do more than just, manage the bleeding.
And you know what she found? Her research didn't lead her to some brand new cutting-edge drug. It led her to a very, very old idea. Fasting isn't some modern health fad. It's a practice that's deeply woven into ancient cultures. And now it's making a huge comeback as science starts to uncover its incredible therapeutic potential. So what is intermittent fasting, or IF, anyway? Well, put simply, it's not really about what you eat. It's about when you eat. It's basically a pattern that cycles you between windows of eating and windows of intentionally not eating. And this really shows the key difference between IF and what we usually think of as a diet, that's continuous caloric restriction. A traditional diet is all about eating less every single day. IF, on the other hand, is about creating these dedicated periods where you just don't eat. And what's amazing is that studies are showing that for weight loss, IF can be just as effective as that old school approach. So, armed with this new knowledge, our patient started this radical new chapter in her health journey. Let's get into the specifics of exactly what she did and the absolutely mind-blowing results she got in just 3 months. Okay, so this was her 4-point game plan. First, on March 14th, she stopped her medications. Cold. Second, she started a really flexible fasting schedule, anywhere from 13 to 83 hours, a couple of times a week. Third, and this is so important, she used a continuous glucose monitor, a CGM, to see in real time exactly how her body was responding. And fourth, when she did eat, she switched to a low-carb, high-fat diet. And the results? The first one was just plain dramatic. In only 3 months, she lost 13.8 kilograms. That's around 30 pounds. But honestly, this next number, this is the real showstopper. Her estimated A1C, that's a measure of your average blood sugar over 3 months, it plummeted from a dangerously high 9.6% all the way down to 5.97%. Now, to put that in perspective, an A1C below 6.5% without medication is the clinical definition of type 2 diabetes remission. She didn't just manage her condition, she reversed it. And this chart just paints such a vivid picture of what that change looked like day to day. This shows her time in range, basically the percentage of the day her blood sugar was in a healthy zone. Before she started, it was a measly 18%. After her 3-month protocol, an absolutely incredible 98% of her day was spent in that healthy range. Just wow. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This is an incredible story, but is it just a one-off, a fluke? Well, let's zoom out from this one case and look at the wider body of research to see what scientists are discovering about intermittent fasting. Turns out, her experience lines up perfectly with the benefits we're seeing in lots of human trials. It goes way beyond just weight loss. Studies are linking IF to improved insulin sensitivity, which is the absolute key for diabetes, plus things like lower blood pressure, less inflammation, better cholesterol, and even a healthier gut. This table kind of sums it all up. It's from these huge umbrella reviews, which are basically studies of other studies, and the evidence is really consistent. For body weight, it's about the same as regular dieting,
But for all those key health markers like fasting blood glucose, blood pressure, and that all-important A1C, intermittent fasting shows significant improvements again and again.
Okay, so with all these incredible potential benefits, it's really easy to get excited and think this is some kind of miracle cure. But we have to hit pause for a second and ask a very, very important question. Is this approach safe and suitable for everybody?
The simple answer is no. It's not for everyone. And it is absolutely crucial that we understand the potential downsides and who really needs to be careful here. And this quote from the research really highlights the biggest concern, that intense focus on food, on restriction, on eating windows. For some people, it can trigger or even worsen unhealthy patterns of disordered eating.
This is exactly why this is not a do-it-yourself project. Anyone with a chronic condition like diabetes, or especially anyone with a history of eating disorders, should never attempt a fasting protocol like this without talking to their doctor first and having close medical supervision. This is a powerful tool, not a fad, and it requires professional guidance.
So, where does all this leave us? What do we take away from all of this? I mean, the story we followed today is just such a powerful example of what can happen when a patient feels empowered to take control.
So let's recap real quick. We've seen that intermittent fasting is this ancient practice that's getting a ton of new scientific attention. We've seen one incredible story that shows its potential to actually put a chronic condition into remission. We know that broader research backs up its benefits for metabolic health, but, and this is a big but, it comes with serious risks around disordered eating. And finally, we saw just how powerful modern tools like a continuous glucose monitor can be in giving people the power to manage their own health journey.
And that really leaves us with one last big question to think about. In our super high-tech world of modern medicine, could some of the most powerful solutions for our biggest chronic diseases actually be found by looking back, by revisiting and scientifically testing the wisdom of these ancient practices? It's definitely some food for thought.